What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Benchwarmer Sports. And I know what you're thinking. I know you've seen the title of this video, and I know you're probably asking, Bench, it's just been one game. How can you think the Cleveland Browns can be Super Bowl contenders after just watching one game? I'm going to get into that here in this video. I'm going to tell you why I think that. I'm going to tell you why I feel like this season, out of the last 5 seasons that we have been promised from the Cleveland Browns, success, Super Bowl aspirations, playoff aspirations, why this season in particular feels like the Cleveland Browns have more of a chance to get to the Super Bowl and make a deep run in the playoffs, okay? Now, to begin with, I want to talk to you guys about the giant room, or the giant star of the Browns right now. And it's not just one player, it's 11 players. And that's the defense. The defense underneath Jim Schwartz has been talked about ad nauseum at times by Browns fans. We have been speculating and fantasizing about how this defense would look underneath Jim Schwartz after the god-awful 3 years that we had to suffer with Joe Woods at the helm. After how many times players had to come out and say that the defense is so convoluted, is just not working underneath Joe Woods, that finally, we are finally using Myles Garrett in a scheme that utilizes his skill set that maybe one or two other players, if not no one else in the league has, that Myles Garrett has in terms of athleticism, in terms of skill set. It's finally amazing to see that we have a defensive coordinator that knows how to use our star defensive player. Okay, one of the main reasons why I titled this video and why I believe that the Cleveland Browns can make a title run this year is due to the fact that this defense, for me, has a lot of similar characteristics, a lot of similar feelings when watching that of the San Francisco 49ers. And what I mean by that is that the defensive line of both teams, with Solomon Thomas, Nick Bosa, Tariq Armstead, a bunch of other guys on that defensive line. Then when you pair that with us, with Myles Garrett, Zadarius Smith, Obo Okoronkwo, Dalvin Tomlinson, Siaki Ika, there is a mutual type of scheme, from what I could see, that the Cleveland Browns are sort of emulating with what the San Francisco 49ers are doing. And what I mean is that they like to create a lot of pressure in that defensive line, which causes quarterbacks to hurry up. And when we have terrific cornerbacks with Denzel Ward, MJ Emerson, Greg Newsome, three number one caliber cornerbacks on our roster, when you're guarding 3 different receivers, that sets up so much success for the Cleveland Browns. Why I say the defense is my number one main reason why I feel like the Browns are Super Bowl contenders, or at least able to make a big run here in the playoffs, if they can get to the playoffs, is due to the fact that the Browns' defense is night and day different from what we have been witnessing the last 5 years. I'll go with the Myles Garrett era. The last 5 years. Granted, I think Browns fans have kind of had short memories with what we've had defensively. A lot of people don't remember what the Browns have tried to do with Myles Garrett and opposite of Myles Garrett. We had Emmanuel Ogbah for the 2018 season, 2017 season, opposite of Myles Garrett. We came out and traded J.C. Treader for Olivier Vernon from the New York Giants. We had him for 2 years. He wasn't really all that he was hyped up to be. We then signed Jadeveon Clowney, who was great. in 2021. And then major disappointment and a locker room cancer last season. But for the first time in Myles Garrett's Browns tenure, the Cleveland Browns finally have personnel that will take the pressure off of Myles Garrett. With guys like Zadarius Smith, who on probably 2/3 of NFL rosters can be a number one starting defensive end for 2/3 of the NFL rosters. With guys like Obo Okoronkwo, who are supremely underrated in terms of his pass rush. The guy can just get sacks like nobody's business. When you have guys who can create pressure and fill gaps, like guys like Dalvin Tomlinson, Siaki Ika, who is a big body, Shelby Harris, Maurice Hurst, to name others, that ultimately creates so much pressure, not just on the quarterback, but on the entire offensive scheme that the Browns are trying to defend against. Look at what happened with Joe Burrow on Sunday, and the rest of the Bengals game plan. Joe Mixon got like 2 yards a carry, almost 3 yards a carry. Joe Burrow threw for under 100 yards. Why was that? That's because he got quarterback hit 6 different times. Or no, I think it was 11 times. He got 11 quarterback hits. He was hit so much because of that defensive pressure on that defensive line. That is what I think is the key on the defense that is ultimately going to unlock the Browns' potential to being a Super Bowl caliber team here in the 2023 season. Because we've already known that the Cleveland Browns defensive back room has been one of the best in football for the last couple of years. Denzel Ward is one of the best defensive backs in the NFL. MJ Emerson, one of the best rookie cornerbacks last season. Greg Newsome, same thing. Really, really, really good. I would say Pro Bowl caliber defensive back as well. We've already known this. The Browns have had a really good defensive back room for the last couple of years. But for the first time in a long time, the Cleveland Browns defensive line has dominated their opponent. They have dominated their opponent. Shelby Harris, Dalvin Tomlinson, Maurice Hurst, Obo Okoronkwo, Zadarius Smith. Those are the 5 guys that came in as free agent acquisitions or trades that absolutely have propelled the Cleveland Browns forward. And I'm not talking about the offense, right? And I know a lot of people may be saying, well, true, the Browns have a really good defense, but their defense is not going to get them anywhere if Deshaun Watson doesn't perform great. I will say that's not necessarily the case. For example, look at what happened with San Francisco. Brock Purdy does not have to be a top 5 quarterback for San Francisco to be an NFC title contender, or a Super Bowl contender for that matter. Now, granted, he's not getting paid $230 million guaranteed for being a top 5 quarterback. He doesn't have the talent to be a top 5 quarterback, at least in my opinion. But what I think that Browns fans, and especially myself, what we need to come to terms with is that this defense can carry us. This defense can carry the Cleveland Browns to where we eventually can go, and that is to a Super Bowl. I am thinking of the San Francisco 49ers right here. Deshaun Watson does not need to go out and throw for 450 yards and 4 touchdowns like he had to in Houston. He does not have to be that guy anymore. And I think that is what the main thing that Browns fans, including myself, have had to come to terms with. At least I think I have come to terms with over the past couple of days, is that the Browns do not need Deshaun Watson to go out there and ball out for 450 yards, 4 touchdowns, like he had to in Houston. Because in Houston, Deshaun really was the main guy on offense. He didn't have as many weapons as he does right now in Cleveland right now. He had DeAndre Hopkins, sure. Outside of that, Will Fuller, he's out of the league right now. Kenny Stills, journeyman. Brandon Cooks, journeyman. Still a good receiver, but still cannot find a stable home. Running game really wasn't there either. They had Duke Johnson there for a little bit, but Duke Johnson is not on the same level as Nick Chubb. We do not need Deshaun Watson to go out and play hero ball. We may need him to play hero ball when push comes to shove, yes. We may need him to come out and perform like the guy who's getting $230 million that we are paying him fully guaranteed in his contract. But with this defense and this defensive line, the Cleveland Browns can go very far. And that is what I've come to terms with the last couple of days. We do not need Deshaun Watson to be the guy from Houston. We have a Pro Bowl, Hall of Fame talent in Nick Chubb. Amari Cooper is a Pro Bowl caliber receiver. Elijah Moore was an underutilized, young, good weapon from the New York Jets. Showed some flashes on Sunday. Donovan Peoples-Jones is a really good number 2 and number 3. Deshaun Watson does not need to carry it all on his back. The defense can carry the Cleveland Browns. Deshaun Watson has to play good enough. He has to play good enough. And if he does play good enough, the Cleveland Browns are going to be in the Super Bowl conversation this season. And the defensive line is the main reason why I believe the Cleveland Browns are going to be a Super Bowl contending team this season. That is going to do it for this video, guys. Thank you so much for watching. If you guys are new and you like this type of content, hit that subscribe button, hit the like button on this video. Gets more eyeballs here on Benchwarmer Sports. We're trying to get to 1,000 subscribers. If you guys like this type of content, make sure you guys hit that subscribe button. Also, week 2 predictions video coming out tomorrow afternoon. Make sure you guys are staying tuned for that. We also have a coming off the bench episode coming out at Friday at 11 a.m. We're going to be doing a live stream with that, so make sure you guys have your bell notifications turned all the way on so you guys know when I go live on Friday at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. We also are going to be doing our Browns pregame stream on Monday afternoon before the game starts, so make sure you guys are staying tuned for that as well. And yeah, I think that's going to be it for this video. Make sure you guys also, if you guys are feeling extra generous, there's my Cash App down here at the bottom left of your screen. And also, if you guys want to do super thanks or super chat, I'd really appreciate it. Anything to help out the channel, I would greatly appreciate. So if you guys are feeling extra generous, make sure you guys do that. And I'll see you guys all in another video. Take care.